I stood in my own mudroom, with snow melting off my boots, and heard my wife say she wished I'd vanish. The door was still half open behind me, cold air mixing with the house warmth. I'd forgotten my wallet at the hardware store. Came back early. Linda was in the kitchen, 10 feet away on speakerphone. Didn't know I was there. A man's voice came through. "Can you really go through with it?" Linda laughed. Not her church laugh. Something colder. "I don't love him anymore," she said. "If he vanished before my birthday, that'd be the best gift I could get." Her voice was sharp in that cold kitchen, clear as the church bells on Sunday morning. Every word landed like a fist. I didn't move, didn't confront her, just stood there with my hand still on the doorknob, boots squeaking on the tile, while my wife, of 42 years, talked about erasing me. I didn't say a word. Not then. But that was only the beginning. That morning started like every other morning for 42 winters. I shoveled the driveway, while the sun came up gray behind the clouds. The snow was the heavy, wet kind that makes your back complain. I taught Amy to shovel when she was 10, showed her how to lift with your legs, not your spine. Taught David the same way. Now they were both gone, grown, living their own lives 3 states over. Inside, coffee was percolating, the old machine we got as a wedding gift from my parents. Linda used to wait for me with 2 cups poured. Used to. That morning she was in the living room doing yoga, some online class. I could hear the instructor's voice through her laptop. Peaceful music, deep breathing, Linda in her expensive yoga pants that showed up on our credit card statement every month. "Going to the hardware store," I called out. She didn't look up, just raised one hand, a wave, or a dismissal. Hard to tell anymore. The drive into town took 15 minutes, snow coming down again. I needed wood screws for a project in the shop, a bowl I'd been turning on the lathe. Something to do with my hands, something that made sense when nothing else did. At the register, I reached for my wallet. Wasn't there. Left it on the dresser. "Sorry, Bill," I told the clerk. "Be right back." 10 minutes home. Pulled into the driveway. The house looked the same as always. White siding, black shutters, the porch I'd rebuilt when Amy was in high school. Everything normal. I came in through the mudroom. Quiet. Boots wet, squeaking on the tile floor. That's when I heard voices. Linda was still in the kitchen, still on that call. But not yoga now. A man's voice on speakerphone. "Can you really go through with it?" I froze, hand still on the doorknob, cold air at my back. "I don't love him anymore." Linda's voice, matter of fact, like she was reading a grocery list. "If he vanished before my birthday, that'd be the best gift I could get." The man, Marcus I'd learn later, said something I couldn't hear. Linda laughed. "He never fights back, Marcus. He just takes it. 42 years, and he's never once stood up for himself. I've put in my time. I deserve to be happy." "What about the kids?" Marcus asked. "They'll understand eventually. They're adults. They'll see I deserve my own life." My mouth tasted like metal, that coppery taste you get when you're about to be sick. My hands were shaking. The door was still open behind me. I could have walked in, confronted her right there. Instead, I backed out. Slow and quiet, got in my truck and sat there with the engine off, my breath fogging up the windshield. The temperature was maybe 20 degrees. I didn't turn on the heat. Through the kitchen window I could see her, laughing, talking, completely unaware. 20 minutes I sat there, maybe longer. Finally went back inside. Linda was off the phone, cheerful. "Forget something?" "Just my wallet." My voice sounded normal. How was that possible? That night, she was different, warmer, touched my shoulder at dinner, actually smiled at me. "We should reconnect," she said. "Been too distant lately. My birthday's coming up. I want a big celebration. Family, friends, us." I wanted to believe her. God help me, I wanted to believe I'd misheard, misunderstood. For 2 days, I almost convinced myself. Sunday morning, we went to church. Small town, same congregation for 30 years. Everyone knows everyone. The sermon was about forgiveness. The irony wasn't lost on me. Coffee hour in the fellowship hall after. That's when Linda found me. "Gerald, come meet someone." She had a man with her, 40 maybe, gym built, expensive haircut, smile that didn't reach his eyes. "This is Marcus," Linda said. "My yoga instructor. He's been so helpful." Marcus shook my hand. His grip was crushing, deliberate. "Good to meet you, sir," he said. But his hand was already moving to Linda's lower back. Possessive, familiar. Linda laughed at something he said, touched his arm. Their body language was wrong, too comfortable, too intimate. I saw the church ladies notice, saw them whisper. My daughter Amy appeared at my elbow. Dad, who is that guy? Your mother's yoga instructor. That doesn't look like just yoga. I didn't answer. What could I say? In the parking lot, I watched them by Linda's car, standing close. Marcus said something. Linda laughed that laugh, the one I'd heard on the phone. He was taller than me, younger, confident. Marcus caught me watching, gave me a small smirk, like a predator who knows your prey. Linda kissed his cheek, got in her car, drove away. Marcus followed in a Lexus. I sat in my truck for a long time after that. The church bells rang for evensong. The parking lot emptied. That's when I knew it wasn't in my head. And it wasn't ending. I started paying attention. Monday morning, I noticed Linda's phone was always face down. When it rang, she'd look at the screen, then walk to another room, close the door. Our shared calendar on the fridge was empty, but she was busy, always had somewhere to be. Tuesday, I found boxes in the garage, moving boxes, labeled in her handwriting, donate, G's stuff. My old tools, clothes I still wore, books I was reading, she hadn't asked, hadn't mentioned it, just started packing up my life. I moved the boxes to my workshop, quiet, methodical, reclaiming what was mine. Wednesday, she mentioned estate planning over breakfast. We should update our wills, she said, casual, like discussing the weather. We're not getting younger, Gerald. Seems sudden. Just being responsible. I scheduled us with an attorney. Friday at 2, scheduled without asking me. I noted that. Thursday, I couldn't find my reading glasses. Third time that week, found them in the freezer, tucked behind the ice tray. No way I'd put them there. Honey, you really need to be more careful, Linda said when I showed her. Her voice was all concern. Maybe see a doctor? This is getting worrisome. The pattern was clear now. She was making me look confused, making me doubt myself. Friday, I called in sick to that attorney meeting, told Linda my stomach was off. I'll reschedule, she said, but her eyes were cold. After she left, I searched her office, found the attorney's business card, elder care and guardianship services. Not just wills, guardianship. Her closet had a small safe I'd never seen before, combination lock. I couldn't open it, but under her jewelry box, I found something else. Sticky residue, like tape had been there recently. I cleaned that box every Christmas, polishing the wood. I knew every inch of it. I looked closer. Under the base, hidden in the felt lining, a small brass key, safety deposit box style. I took a photo with my phone, put it back exactly how I found it. Saturday afternoon, I drove to the bank, our credit union. Asked for Bill, the manager, old friend from Rotary Club. His office had a glass door, privacy but visible. Bill, I need a favor. I showed him the photo of the key. Linda's. I need to know what's in that box. Bill shifted in his chair. Gerald, I can't just... We've been friends 30 years. Something's wrong. His face changed, pity mixed with concern. He pulled up his computer, typed, stared at the screen. She's been making withdrawals, he said finally. Large ones. My stomach dropped. How large? Gerald? He looked at me hard. Get yourself a lawyer. That's all I can say. He checked the vault schedule. She's not coming in today. You've got 30 minutes. The vault was cold, fluorescent lights humming. Bill opened the safety deposit box and left me alone. I pulled out the contents. Bank withdrawal slips, $87,000, over 6 months, forged power of attorney documents. My signature copied perfectly. She'd practiced. Love letters, handwritten, from Marcus. Once you're free of him, we can finally start our real life. Sedona by April. The documents look perfect. No one will question them. Real estate listings. Sedona homes circled in red pen. Life insurance papers. Me as the insured. And a timeline titled Exit Strategy. March 15th, birthday party. March 20th, transfer G to Oak Ridge Care. March 25th, close accounts, wire funds. April 1st, Sedona move-in. I sat on the vault floor, papers spread around me. My hands were shaking so hard I could barely hold my phone to photograph everything. This wasn't just an affair. It was robbery, erasure. She was going to put me away and take everything. The forged signature looked exactly like mine, better than my own on bad days. I photographed every page. Some shots came out blurry. My hands wouldn't stop shaking. I did them again, put everything back exactly as I found it. Bill was waiting outside the vault. I never saw you here. Thanks, Bill. I owe you. You don't owe me anything. Just protect yourself. The drive home was a blur. Gray sky, snow starting again, my mind trying to process the scope of it. I pulled into the driveway. Linda's car was there, and the Lexus. Through the kitchen window I could see them. At the table, laughing. drinking wine from the expensive bottle I'd been saving for our anniversary, Marcus's hand on her shoulder. They were in my house, drinking my wine, planning my destruction. I gripped the steering wheel until my knuckles turned white, sat there 10 minutes, just watching them through the glass. I'd been a fool, but not anymore. The question now was what to do about it. I couldn't eat. Food tasted like sawdust, like ash. I'd put a fork to my mouth and my stomach would rebel. 8 pounds fell off in a week. Couldn't sleep either. 3, maybe 4 hours a night. Nightmares about nursing homes. My father strapped to a wheelchair, drooling, calling for help nobody came to give. That's what Linda had planned for me. I'd wake at 2 in the morning in a cold sweat, Linda sleeping peaceful beside me. A stranger. I spent my nights in the workshop. Space heater barely cutting the cold. Tried to work the lathe, but my hands shook too much. Dangerous to use power tools when you're trembling. One night, I ruined a bowl I'd been working on for weeks. Cut too deep, the wood split. I nearly threw the chisel across the room, stopped myself, sat down, put my head in my hands. My doctor's appointment was routine, annual physical, but when Dr. Morrison wrapped the blood pressure cuff around my arm, his face changed. 168 over 105, he said. That's significantly elevated from last year. I'm fine. Gerald, this is dangerous. Any unusual stress? Life changes? Just getting older. He didn't believe me, I could tell. I'm doubling your medication. If this doesn't come down in 2 weeks, we're talking about hospitalization. Hospitalization. That word stuck with me. If I had a medical episode, Linda's forged guardianship papers would activate. She'd have legal control. Time was running out. Thursday, I went to the grocery store with Amy. She was visiting, wanted to pick up supplies for dinner. I parked the truck in row C, clear memory of it. We shopped. Amy chatted about Emma's school play, Jake's obsession with dinosaurs. Normal conversation. I tried to focus. When we came out, I walked to row C, empty space where my truck should be. Dad, the truck's over here. Amy was pointing to row E. No, I parked in C. Dad, look, it's right there. She was pointing at my truck. Row E. I stared at it. Had I misremembered? Was Linda right? Was I losing my mind? Then I realized Linda had been at the store. Saw her car in the lot. She'd moved my truck while we shopped. Another piece of evidence for her confused husband narrative. In the truck, Amy turned to me. Dad, are you sure you're okay? Mom mentioned you've been forgetting things. My heart sank. Linda had already poisoned her, my own daughter. I'm fine, honey, just distracted. Amy didn't look convinced. Maybe you should see a specialist, just to be safe? I nodded, couldn't speak. If I told Amy the truth, that her mother was gaslighting me, forging documents, planning to institutionalize me, I'd sound paranoid. Crazy, exactly what Linda wanted. That night, there was a family dinner. Amy brought the grandkids. Emma, 8, Jake, 5. Linda played perfect grandmother, baked cookies, cheerful, warm. At dinner, she started in. Gerald, could you pass the salt? I passed it. Linda turned to Amy. He's been so forgetful. Yesterday, I asked him 3 times to pick up milk. Never did. You never asked me that. Linda's face was all concern. Honey, we talked about it at breakfast. Had we? I couldn't remember breakfast clearly. I hadn't eaten. After dinner, I washed dishes. Heard them talking in the living room. Amy, how long has this been going on? Linda, months. I didn't want to worry you, but I've scheduled an appointment with a specialist. After my birthday party, I think we need to discuss options for his safety. My hands were shaking. The plate slipped, shattered on the floor. Everyone came running. It's okay, honey, Linda said, patronizing, like talking to a child. Just an accident. Emma whispered to Jake. Is Grandpa sick? I heard it, felt something break inside me. After they left, Linda was satisfied. That went well. Amy understands now. I went to the workshop. 11 at night, sub-zero outside. I didn't turn on the heat, just sat in the dark. Every option led to destruction. Confront her, she'd call Amy, say I was violent. Leave. She'd claim abandonment, take everything, stay silent. Nursing home, assets drained, life erased. I was trapped. Around 2 in the morning, the door opened. Cold blast of air. I hadn't heard footsteps. Tom Brewster stood there. My neighbor, Vietnam vet, widower. We weren't close, but we were friendly. He didn't say anything, just handed me a thermos, coffee with whiskey, sat on the second stool, 5 minutes of silence. Then I spoke. I think my wife is trying to destroy me. Tom didn't look surprised. I know, he said. I'm helping. Tom poured coffee into 2 tin cups. The whiskey smell cut through the sawdust and cold. We sat there in silence. That's something about veterans. They know how to be quiet without it being awkward. Tom had served in Vietnam. I'd done 2 years before my knee gave out, close enough for him to count me as one of his own. Finally, he spoke. Patricia died 2 years back. Cancer. I nodded. I'd gone to the funeral. Small service. Tom standing alone at the grave. Her sister Diane moved in to help. He put air quotes around the word. Real helpful. Started changing Pat's will while she was on morphine. Tried to get me declared incompetent, said grief made me unstable. I looked up. Someone who understood. Buddy from the VA noticed. Intervened. Saved my ass. Tom took a sip of coffee. So when I saw that Lexus parked at your place 3 nights running, I started paying attention. Tom, don't bullshit me, son. He pulled a folder from inside his coat, set it on the workbench between us. Photos, Marcus's Lexus at various times, dates and timestamps, license plate close-ups, one shot through my kitchen window, Linda and Marcus embracing. I stared at the evidence. Someone else saw it. I wasn't crazy. Ran the plates, Tom said. Got a name. Had my nephew check him out. He tapped the folder. This Marcus Delahunt? He's done this before. He pulled out a printed report. I read it by the dim workshop light. Marcus Delahunt, age 40, 3 previous relationships. Women aged 52, 56, 58. Pattern identical, every time. Yoga or fitness classes, isolation from family, gaining financial access, sudden disappearance, 1 restraining order for assault, suspected in 2 other financial exploitation cases, no charges filed. She's not special to him, I said quietly. She's a mark. Means he knows what he's doing. He's got a system. Tom leaned back, but also means he's got a pattern we can predict. What do I do? You're not fighting alone anymore. Tom pulled out his phone, texted someone. My nephew Mark handles family law. Does pro bono work for veterans' families? You served? 2 years, before the knee. Close enough. 20 minutes later, headlights in Tom's driveway. A man got out, sharp suit, leather briefcase, colder eyes than Tom's. Mark Brennan, 42, former prosecutor, lost his own grandfather to a similar scheme Tom had mentioned once. We moved to Tom's living room, wood stove burning, photos of Patricia on the mantel, flag folded in a triangle case. I showed Mark the photos on my phone from the bank vault. He enlarged each one, studied the forged signature. This is textbook elder abuse, he said. Clinical, professional. Financial exploitation, Class C felony in Indiana. Forged power of attorney, intent to defraud, conspiracy. What can I do? Mark listed options. Adult Protective Services, investigation, asset freeze, emergency restraining order, remove Linda from the home, criminal complaint, slow, uncertain outcome, civil lawsuit, expensive, lengthy. Then he stopped, looked at me hard. Your wife is planning something at her birthday party, correct? She mentioned a family meeting. I think she's going to publicly declare me incompetent. Let her. I stared at him. What? Let her proceed. We'll be ready. Mark opened his briefcase, pulled out documents. Record everything, gather witnesses, catch her in the act. Then we respond with evidence, legal intervention, complete reversal. Public forum works both ways. That's still my wife. 42 years. Mark's face softened slightly. She stopped being your wife when she forged your signature. This isn't revenge, Mr. Hutchins. It's survival. Tom leaned forward. You don't have to burn her down, Gerald. Just stop her from burning you. I looked at the photo on my phone. My signature. Not my hand. Someone had practiced copying it to steal my life. What do I need to do? Mark pulled out more documents. Asset freeze paperwork, ready to file. Restraining order petition, already drafted. Divorce filing, prepared if I chose to use it. Adult Protective Services affidavit. Indiana is a one-party consent state, he explained. You can legally record conversations you're part of. We have options: phone app, recording watch, body wire. He pulled out a watch, looked normal, black face, leather band. Clear audio up to 30 feet, timestamp embedded, can be entered as evidence. Tom and Mark tested it, had a conversation about the weather, played it back, crystal clear, time and date stamp visible on the file. The moment she begins her intervention speech, start recording, Mark said. We need her to clearly state your alleged incompetence, ideally reference the forged documents, then we play our recording of her conspiracy with Marcus. He walked me through the strategy, step by step. I'd attend the party normally, no warning to Linda. She'd give her speech, start her intervention. Then I'd play the recording of her and Marcus planning. Mark would be there as a family friend. He'd intervene, announce the legal violations, serve the restraining order. Adult Protective Services would be notified immediately. The kids will be there, I said. Amy, David. Better they see the truth than believe her lies, Mark said. Amy already half believes you're declining. This corrects that, Tom added quietly. Your grandkids are watching too. What do you want them to remember? I thought about that. About Emma whispering, "Is Grandpa sick?" About Jake growing up thinking I was weak, confused, nothing. When's the party? Mark asked. Saturday, 8 days. I'll have everything ready. Mark handed me the watch. Practice with it. Get comfortable. I'll prepare all legal filings. He looked at me seriously. This will be painful, public, messy. She'll be humiliated. Your family will witness it. Are you prepared for that? I thought about the nursing home, about my father, about being erased. I'm prepared. Mark packed up his briefcase. One more thing. If she suspects anything, she'll accelerate. Act normal. Don't change your behavior. Can you do that? Live with her, sleep beside her, pretend for 8 days. I looked out Tom's window, across the yards to my house, lights on in the bedroom. Linda was awake. I've been pretending for months that I don't know. 8 more days is nothing. But I didn't know if that was true until I walked through my own front door 20 minutes later. Linda was in bed, reading a magazine about desert landscapes, Sedona travel guides. Where were you? She asked. Tom's, borrowed a tool. This late? Lost track of time. She studied me, looking for cracks in the lie. I kept my face neutral. 42 years of marriage. I knew how to read her, but she could read me too. Finally, she smiled, patted the bed beside her. Come to sleep. You look exhausted. I got ready for bed, brushed my teeth, changed into pajamas. All normal routine. Slid under the covers beside her. She kissed my cheek. Love you. The words felt like acid. Love you too. She turned off the light. Within minutes, her breathing deepened. Asleep. I lay there in the dark. The recording watch was in my sock drawer, charging. The legal documents were at Mark's office. The plan was set. In 8 days, everything would change. I studied Linda's face in the darkness, the woman I'd married 42 years ago. Young and hopeful and real back then. We'd had something genuine once, I was sure of it. But that woman was gone. Had been for a long time. Maybe years. And I'd been too blind to see it. Or maybe too afraid. The next morning I woke before her, made coffee, started the routine. When Linda came down, I was at the table, reading the paper. Morning, I said. Normal, casual. Morning. She poured herself coffee. What are your plans today? Workshop. Got that bowl to finish. She wasn't really listening. Already on her phone, texting someone, Marcus probably. I watched her over the paper, memorizing this, the last days of the lie. Tom came by that afternoon with the recording watch fully charged, showed me how to start and stop it, practiced until the motion was natural, a casual touch to the watch face, that's all it took. You sure about this? Tom asked. No, I said, but I'm doing it anyway. Over the next week, I maintained perfect normalcy. Went to the hardware store, shoveled snow, Sunday church. Marcus was there with Linda again. I shook his hand. Good to see you, Marcus. He looked surprised, pleased, thought I was giving up. Monday, Amy called. Dad, Mom mentioned the party has a family component. What's that about? I think your mother wants to discuss some family matters. Is this about your health? She's been worried. It's about a lot of things. I'm glad you'll be there, honey. Wednesday, 5 days before the party, I went to the workshop. My hands were finally steady. I started a new project, a small wooden box, careful joinery, clean lines. First thing I'd completed in months. For Amy, after this was over, proof I wasn't declining. Friday morning, 1 day before the party, Mark called. Everything's ready. Tom's driving you. I'll be there at 6. Remember, act natural until she starts. I'll remember. That evening, Linda tried on dresses, asked me how she looked. She was beautiful, always had been. Age hadn't changed that. Beautiful, I said, and meant it. She smiled, kissed my cheek. Thank you for being understanding. Tomorrow will be good. A new beginning for both of us. I believe that. She went to bed satisfied, happy. I sat in the dark living room, recording watch on my wrist. 8 days of pretending almost over. She thought tomorrow was her liberation. She had no idea it was mine. Saturday morning, the party. I woke before Linda. Gray February light through the curtains. She was still sleeping, peaceful. I watched her for a moment. Tried to remember when things had gone wrong. Couldn't pinpoint it. Maybe it had been gradual, years of small distances adding up, or maybe I'd just stopped paying attention. I got up, showered, shaved carefully in the bathroom mirror. The face looking back was older than 67. Stress had carved new lines, or maybe I'd finally stopped pretending I was younger than I was. Linda woke while I was dressing, stretched, smiled. Can you believe it? 60 years old today. Happy birthday. Thank you for agreeing to this party. She sat up. It means a lot. Wouldn't miss it. The irony hung in the air. She didn't hear it. She left for a hair appointment mid-morning. Early setup at the country club. Kissed me goodbye. See you at 6. Alone in the house, I went to the bedroom, pulled out my good suit, charcoal gray, kept from my brother's funeral 5 years back. White shirt, ironed. Navy tie Amy had given me for Father's Day. I dressed slowly. Each piece felt like armor. The recording watch was on the dresser. I'd tested it that morning. Battery full, memory clear. I picked it up, held it. This small device held my entire defense. I put it on my wrist, adjusted the band. In my sock drawer, the emerald necklace was still there. $1,200 I'd saved over months for her birthday, symbol of my delusion. I picked it up. The stones caught the light, blue-green, beautiful. Put it in my jacket pocket. Didn't know why. Maybe I'd give it to her anyway. Maybe not. The wedding photo was still on the dresser. Young couple, 1983. I took it out of the frame, folded it, put it in my wallet, left the empty frame where it was. I was already saying goodbye. Noon. Tom's truck pulled into the driveway. He came to the door. Ready? As I'll ever be. Last chance to back out. Mark's got other options. I looked at the house. 42 years of memories. Good ones mixed with bad. Kids growing up, holidays, ordinary days that had seemed boring but now felt precious. If I back out, I lose it anyway, I said. Slowly, painfully, this way I choose how it ends. Tom nodded, understood. In the truck we drove in silence. That veteran's comfort with quiet. Snow had stopped, roads were clear, 15 minutes to the country club. Whatever happens. Tom said finally, you did right. Hope my kids see it that way. They will. Eventually. The country club appeared ahead. Big colonial building, white columns, circular drive, 40 cars in the lot already. Through the tall windows I could see people inside, dressed up, mingling. Linda was visible, center of attention laughing, Marcus beside her, his arm around her shoulder. My stomach dropped. The moment was real. Tom pulled up to the entrance. We can leave right now, just say the word. I watched my wife with her lover. At a party paid for with my money, where she planned to publicly destroy me in front of everyone I knew. No, I said. Drive up front. I'm done being invisible. We walked through those doors together, Tom flanking me like a bodyguard. Warm air hit us. Sound of conversation. 50 people, maybe more. The country club had decorated, balloons, flowers, a banner saying, Happy 60th, Linda. People turned when I entered. There he is. Someone called out. Gerald, good to see you. But the tone was wrong, too gentle, too careful, like talking to someone fragile. How are you feeling, Gerald? Doing all right. Good to see you up and about. Every greeting had that edge, that pity. They already believed Linda's narrative. The confused husband, the declining mind. Linda materialized through the crowd. Designer dress, hair perfect, smiled wide. Oh, Gerald, you made it. She kissed my cheek. Performance for the audience. Marcus was there immediately, hand extended. Good to see you, sir. I shook it, felt his crushing grip. Marcus, thanks for coming. My daughter Amy grabbed my arm, pulled me aside. Dad, what's going on? This feels weird. People keep asking about your health. I looked at her. My little girl, 38 now, worried eyes. Just watch, honey, I said quietly. And remember I love you. Dad, you're scaring me. Trust me. David arrived late, rushed in from the airport, hugged me. Sorry, flight was delayed. You doing okay, old man? Mom said... I know what she said. You'll see the truth soon enough. He looked confused but didn't press. I saw Mark Brennan enter, suit and tie, blended into the crowd like any other guest. He caught my eye, nodded once, positioned himself near the sound system. Tom was by the exit, blocking potential escape routes. Everyone was in place. Cocktail hour felt like walking through quicksand. Every conversation was a minefield. Neighbors. How are you managing, Gerald? Linda's told us about your struggles. Church friends. So brave of Linda to handle this. You're lucky to have her. Yoga group women. You should try yoga, Gerald. Great for memory and stress. I responded appropriately, calmly, proving my competence with every answer. But no one noticed. They'd already decided I was impaired. Dinner was called. Prime rib, expensive wine. We were seated at the head table. Gerald, Linda, Amy, David, and Marcus, introduced as a close family friend. Linda was glowing, holding court, telling stories, laughing. I sat there with the recording watch on my wrist, waiting. The meal finished, dessert arrived, an elaborate cake. Happy 60th Linda in gold script, 60 candles lit, everyone sang, Linda blew them out, made a wish. The irony would have been funny if it wasn't so cruel. Staff cleared the plates, the room quieted, expectant. Linda stood, tapped her water glass with a fork. All eyes turned to her. I touched the watch face, started recording. My pulse was hammering, but my hand was steady. Linda smiled at the crowd, then at me, that predator's smile. Thank you all for coming to celebrate this milestone. Here it comes, I thought. Everything I'd been for 42 years was about to end, but everything I was about to become was starting. Linda's voice carried across the room, confident, practiced. Turning 60 makes you reflect on life, what matters, what you want for the years ahead. Guests leaned in. This was what they'd come for, the drama beneath the celebration. Gerald and I have been together 42 years, she looked at me, manufactured tenderness. He's been a good husband, a good father. Past tense. I caught that. So did Amy. But lately, I've noticed changes. Linda's voice dropped, intimate, concerned. Memory lapses, confusion, mood swings. Murmurs rippled through the crowd, sympathetic, pitying. Things going missing, accusations that don't make sense. She touched her chest. It's been hard to watch. I sat perfectly still, recording every word. I've consulted with specialists, a lie. And I've made a difficult decision. The room held its breath. Gerald needs more care than I can provide at home. Audible gasps, people turning to look at me, pity in their eyes. Amy gripped the table edge. Mom, what are you talking about? Linda's face was all maternal concern. Honey, I know this is hard. Hard? You're talking about putting Dad in a home, where he can get the professional attention he needs. Linda's voice was so reasonable, so caring. And where I can finally take care of myself, after decades of putting everyone else first. David stood up. This is insane. Dad's fine. David, denial is natural. Linda turned to the crowd. This party is also a goodbye of sorts. I'll be transitioning Gerald to Oak Ridge Care Facility next week. Like hell you will. That was me, standing up, voice calm, clear. The room went silent. Linda's eyes flashed alarm, then forced concern. Gerald, sit down. You're not feeling well. I'm feeling fine, Linda. Better than I have in months. I walked to the front of the room, to the sound system control panel. Every eye followed me. Mark Brennan appeared near the exit, casual, but positioned to block. Tom was at the main door. I pulled out my phone, connected it to the AUX cable. The same system Linda had used for her slideshow. Family photos, happy memories, all lies. Gerald, what are you doing? Linda's voice had an edge now, fear creeping in. I looked at my wife of 42 years, this woman I'd loved, built a life with, who'd planned to erase me. Let's tell them the truth, I said, and pressed play. The recording crackled through the speakers. Phone quality, but clear enough. Linda's voice. I don't love him anymore. If he vanished before my birthday, that'd be the best gift I could get. The room froze. 50 people stopped breathing. Marcus's voice. Can you really go through with it? Linda. I've earned this, Marcus. 42 years is long enough. Someone's fork clattered on a plate, the sound impossibly loud. The recording continued. Marcus. What about the assets? The house? Linda. He's got about $340,000. Life insurance, retirement accounts, the house. I've got the power of attorney documents ready. But Marcus, he signed them? Linda laughed on the recording. That cold laugh. He'll never know I signed his name. They look perfect. Linda lunged across the room. Stop it. That's taken out of context. I stepped in front of the phone, blocked her. What context makes forgery legal? The final section played. Marcus, what if he fights back? Linda's voice, contemptuous. He won't. He never does. He'll just take it like always. He's already half erased himself. I'm just finishing the job. Once he's in Oak Ridge, I'll liquidate everything, Sedona by April. The recording ended. Silence. Complete and total. Then chaos. Marcus stood, headed for the door, fast. Mark Brennan stepped in front of him. Marcus Delahunt, I'd stay if I were you. Get out of my way. I'm Mark Brennan, family law attorney. Mark's voice carried across the room. Adult Protective Services has been notified. That recording constitutes evidence of elder abuse, financial exploitation, conspiracy to commit fraud, document forgery. That's a Class C felony. Police are outside. They weren't, but Marcus didn't know that. He shoved past Mark, hit the emergency exit. The alarm blared. Tom tried to block him, but Marcus was younger, desperate. He pushed through. We heard his Lexus peel out of the parking lot. He'd be gone. Disappeared like he'd done before. But that was tomorrow's problem. Tonight was about Linda. She'd collapsed into her chair, but she wasn't done. She never went down easy. You can't do this. Screaming now, mask completely shattered. That's my money too. I have a right. Our money, I said quietly. And you were taking all of it, plus putting me in a nursing home to die. Amy was at my side, arm around me. Dad, I'm so sorry. I didn't know. David was staring at his mother. What the fuck, Mom? You were going to put him away? Steal everything? Linda switched tactics. Tears now. Collapsed victim. You don't understand what it's like. Her voice breaking. 42 years with someone who stopped seeing you, who stopped trying. I deserved to be happy. I deserved my own life. You could have divorced me, I said. I would have let you go, split everything fair, walked away clean. You were already nothing. Linda's face twisted. Ugly. Real emotion finally. Invisible. You erased yourself years ago. I just made it official. The cruelty in her voice silenced the room. I felt Amy's arm tighten around me. Protective. Maybe I was invisible, I said. But I'm not anymore. Guests were leaving now. Some quickly, embarrassed, wanting escape. Others lingering, morbid curiosity. The church ladies clustered together, whispering, Linda's social execution happening in real time. Mark was distributing business cards. Anyone who witnessed Mrs. Hutchins's speech tonight, please contact me. We'll need statements for the protective order hearing. The country club manager appeared, uncomfortable. I think it's best if everyone leaves. Linda was still at the head table, crying. Whether real or performed, I couldn't tell anymore. Didn't matter. I turned to her one last time. I would have let you go, I said. If you'd just been honest, asked for a divorce, but you tried to erase me, lock me away, steal everything I worked for. That's what I can't forgive. You were already erased, she screamed. You're nothing. You've always been nothing. The words hung in the air, her final truth, what she'd really thought all along. Maybe, I said, but at least I'm honest nothing, not a thief. I walked toward the exit. Amy and David flanked me. Tom fell in behind. Mark was talking to a police officer who'd actually shown up. The emergency alarm had triggered a response. Outside, the cold night air hit my face. Clean, sharp, real. I stopped on the steps, breathed deep. Amy's voice was soft. Dad, you're staying with me tonight, however long you need. And David, I'm not going back to Seattle until this is sorted. How long have you known? Weeks. Found the evidence at the bank. Why didn't you tell us? I looked at my son. She'd already convinced you I was declining. Would you have believed me? David and Amy exchanged a glance. The honest answer, probably not. I would have, say, Amy said. Eventually, I was starting to see it. Tom's truck pulled up. We climbed in, started driving. Behind us, through the rear window, I could see the country club, lit up bright, people still leaving, Linda somewhere inside. The wreckage of 42 years on display. Tom's voice was quiet. You did the right thing. Then why does it feel so bad? Because you're not a cruel man. What just happened was cruel, even if it was necessary. We drove through town, past the church, the diner, the hardware store. Everything familiar, everything different now. She called me nothing, I said. Tom kept his eyes on the road. She was wrong. But pause. Was she? You just fought for your life in front of 50 people, Tom said. That's not nothing. That's everything. Amy's guest room had unfamiliar sheets, floral pattern, too soft. I couldn't sleep. 2 in the morning I gave up, sat in the armchair by the window, stared at the wall. Amy appeared in the doorway, didn't say anything, just brought tea and sat on the bed. You were really brave tonight, Dad. I was really tired, honey, of being invisible. She set the tea on the nightstand. It sat there cooling. Neither of us touched it. You were never invisible to me, she said. To me and David. I nodded. Didn't believe it yet. Morning came. Emma and Jake were at breakfast. They didn't know what happened. Too young. Amy and her ex-husband had agreed to keep it simple. Grandpa was staying with them for a while. Jake climbed into my lap. Grandpa, want to build Legos? Something cracked in my chest. This innocence, this normalcy. Sure, buddy. We built on the living room floor. A spaceship, Jake's design, all primary colors and impossible physics. Perfect. Sunday afternoon, Mark called. Filing tomorrow morning, restraining order, asset freeze, divorce petition, emergency hearings set for Wednesday. She's barred from the house. You can return Tuesday with a police escort. The house. Right. I'd have to go back there eventually. Gerald, you still there? Yeah, I'm here. You did good last night. The recording's solid evidence. This should be straightforward. Straightforward. Like 42 years could be reduced to paperwork. Monday, the restraining order was granted. Judge reviewed the evidence, the recording, the forged documents, the timeline. Took him 20 minutes to decide. Tuesday, a police officer escorted me home. The house felt wrong. Empty but full of ghosts. Linda's things were half-packed, boxes everywhere, like she'd started leaving, then just stopped. Photos still on the walls. Wedding pictures, kids at school photos, family vacations to the lake. All those years, captured in frames. I took down our wedding photo. Couldn't throw it away. Put it in the closet instead. Covered it with a sheet. The officer waited by the door. Take your time, sir. I packed what I needed. Clothes, important documents, the wooden box I'd made for Amy. In the bedroom, the bed we'd shared for decades was just furniture now. I took my pillow, left hers. The workshop took longer. Tools, unfinished projects. That ruined bowl from months ago, evidence of when everything started falling apart. I loaded everything into my truck. That everything? The officer asked. I looked at the house one last time. 42 years, 2 kids raised, thousands of ordinary days that had seemed boring but now felt precious. Yeah, that's everything. I gave the officer a key to leave for Linda's lawyer. She couldn't return without legal proceedings. The house was mine now, by law, by right. It didn't feel like victory. Wednesday was the emergency hearing. Restraining order made permanent. Linda attended with an attorney I didn't recognize, a woman from Indianapolis. Expensive suit. First time seeing Linda since the party. She looked smaller somehow, older, broken, or maybe she just finally looked like who she really was. Her lawyer argued. Mrs. Hutchins made mistakes, but she's not dangerous. A permanent restraining order is excessive. The judge cut her off, reviewed the evidence, the recordings, the forged documents, the timeline. This court finds credible evidence of elder abuse and financial exploitation. His voice was final. Restraining order made permanent. Asset freeze remains in effect. Mr. Hutchins shall retain the marital home. Divorce proceedings may continue. Linda left without looking at me, got into a car I didn't recognize. Her sister from Tucson drove away. Tom stood beside me on the courthouse steps. How you feeling? I don't know yet. The weeks that followed blurred together. I moved back into the house. Tom helped. The place was too quiet. No TV noise. No Linda's routines. No sounds except the ones I made. I slept poorly. Every creak was a threat. Tom brought casseroles. Terrible cooking. Too much paprika. Too much salt. I ate them anyway because it was kind. Church gossip reached me through Tom's reports. The town had chosen sides. Heard what Linda did. Terrible woman. Gerald's a saint for not pressing charges. Always knew something was off about that Marcus. Poor Gerald. All those years. I'd gone from invisible to pitied. Wasn't sure which was worse. Week 2, Linda's attorney contacted Mark. She'd relocated to Tucson, wanted to negotiate a settlement. Mark was firm. She gets nothing. She's the perpetrator here. She gets half the retirement, I said. Mark stared at me. What? No? You don't have to. She was my wife for 42 years. That counts for something. I just want the house and to be left alone. Gerald, I'm tired of fighting, Mark. Let her have something. End this. He argued. I insisted. Finally, he agreed. Week 3, divorce papers were filed. Irreconcilable differences plus elder abuse and fraud. Fast-tracked due to circumstances. Linda didn't contest. Wanted it over as much as I did. Settlement terms. I kept the house, 75% of retirement, all savings. Linda got 25% of retirement. No alimony. Her fraud waived that right. No contact clause. No reconciliation possibility. Both signed. Done. Week 4, David visited from Seattle. Extended stay, father-son time. We worked in the shop together. Building a bookshelf for Emma, simple project. Steady work. I should have seen it, David said. I'm sorry. She's still your mother. You can love us both. Can I? After what she did? I set down my saw, looked at him. She gave you life. That's not nothing. She raised you, fed you, taught you things. All that was real. And then she tried to destroy you. Yeah, she did. Both things can be true. We worked in silence for a while. The rhythm of it was good. Measuring, cutting, sanding. You seeing anyone? David asked. Awkward. I laughed. First time in weeks. God, no. I don't know if I'll ever trust anyone again. That's okay. You don't have to. Your mother said I was nothing. You think that's true? David stopped working. Looked at me hard. Dad, you just fought for your life. Exposed fraud. Protected yourself. You're teaching me woodworking right now. You made breakfast this morning. You're here. That's not nothing. That's everything. Tom's words. David's words. Everyone kept saying the same thing. Maybe eventually I'd believe it. Week 6, early March. The divorce decree arrived in the mail. I sat at the kitchen table, read through it. 42 years reduced to legal language. Marriage dissolved. Assets divided. No future contact permitted. I should have felt relief. Felt empty instead. That night I cried, for the first time since everything began. Not for Linda, for who I'd been, the man who'd trusted, who'd believed, who'd shoveled snow thinking about ordinary life. That man died in the mudroom last January, listening to his wife wish him gone. This new man was a stranger to myself, but at least he was honest. Early March, the ice started thawing, spring coming whether I was ready or not. I went to the workshop. First time in days I could actually work. My hands were finally steady. Purpose and peace returning in small measures. That ruined bowl was still on the shelf. Couldn't fix it. But I could start fresh. New maple. Simple lines. Careful cuts. 3 hours passed. Didn't notice. When I finished roughing it out, I set it aside to dry. First thing I'd created, not destroyed, since October. Tom appeared at the shop door. Getting warmer out there. Almost spring. Almost. He studied me. You going to make it through this? I already am, I said. Doesn't feel like it, but I'm breathing, working. That's something. Tom nodded. That's everything. Friday dinner became routine. Amy and the kids, sometimes David when he was in town. I cooked simple meals, burgers, pot roast. Gerald basics. Jake wanted to see the workshop. I showed him the tools, taught him safety rules. Respect the tool, I said. It'll respect you back. His small hand in mine, guiding him, teaching him, legacy continuing despite everything. Sunday I went back to church, first time since the party, nervous about it, the gossip, the stares. Tom went with me, moral support. People were kind, mostly, some curious. The pastor pulled me aside after. Glad to see you, Gerald. If you need anything, we're here. I appreciated it, but real healing was private work, done alone, in workshops and quiet mornings. Mid-March, I started yard work, clearing winter debris, preparing beds. Tom appeared with tools. Planting anything this year? Thinking about tomatoes. Linda had always hated gardening. Dirt, bugs, time. Now I could plant if I wanted. Small freedom in the tragedy. I'll help you build raised beds, Tom said. We worked together the next day. Physical labor, companionship without pressure. The beds took shape. When we finished, I looked at the empty soil. Potential there. Something might grow. Late March evening, Tom and I on the porch, coffee in hand, first warm night, temperature in the 50s. Think I'll make it through this? I asked. Tom rocked in his chair. You already are. Doesn't feel like it. Never does, until one day you realize you did. We sat in silence, sipping coffee, listening to Robin sing. The pain was duller now, edges less sharp. Maybe Tom was right. Spring was coming. I wasn't sure I'd survive to see it, but here I was, breathing. April arrived with warmer air and longer days. I planted the tomato garden. 6 plants in the raised beds Tom and I had built. Beefsteak, cherry, heirloom varieties. My hands in the soil felt right. Honest work, simple purpose. Linda had always hated gardening. Now I understood why I'd stopped doing it. All those small surrenders over the years, things I'd given up to keep the peace had been a lie anyway. Friday dinners became ritual. Amy brought Emma and Jake at 5. Sometimes David when he was visiting. I'd cook, getting better at it, roast chicken, pot roast, nothing fancy but edible. Emma helped with sides. Jake set the table. I taught him proper placement. Fork on the left, knife and spoon on the right. Why does it matter, Grandpa? Because doing things right matters, even small things. After dinner, we'd go to the workshop. Jake was fascinated by the tools, asked 1,000 questions, listened carefully when I explained safety. We started a project together, a wooden box for Amy, his first real build. Measure twice, cut once, I told him. Why twice? Because wood doesn't forgive mistakes. You only get one chance to cut it right. We worked slowly, his small hands guided by mine. Progress was patient. One evening, Jake asked, Grandma never came here, right? Children's honesty. No filter. No, she didn't like the workshop. Why not? Some people don't. That's okay. I like it, Jake said. Smells like Christmas trees. I smiled. Fresh sawdust. Pine. He was right. Thursday evenings I started going to the community garden committee. Tom had insisted, you need to get out, talk to people who aren't me. 8 people planning spring plantings, discussion of soil amendments, pest management, irrigation. Normal conversations, boring and necessary. I contributed ideas about wiring for the watering system. Felt useful without the weight of the past. Late April there was a community garden work day. Tom picked me up. We drove over together. 8 people showed up. Tilling, planting, mulching. Good physical work. A woman I didn't know approached. Early 60s, calm face, carrying a pie. You're Gerald Hutchins, right? I'm Claire Brennan, moved in 3 houses down from you last month. Brennan, Mark's aunt, Tom's sister-in-law. Nice to meet you. Made extra apple pie. Thought you might like some. I accepted it. That's kind. Tom mentioned you've got those raised beds going. Tomatoes? 6 plants. First time gardening in years. I'm trying container tomatoes. First time for me too. She smiled. Probably doing it all wrong. We talked about soil pH, watering schedules, pest management, normal topics, safe, no pressure. I found myself relaxing. Just 2 people talking about gardens. You come to the Thursday meetings? She asked. Started a few weeks ago. Good. We need people who actually know what they're doing. Most of us are making it up. I'm making it up too. She laughed. Genuine. Easy. The workday continued. No forced closeness. But the conversation had been comfortable, unstrained. Later at home, I tried the pie. Actually good. Butter crust, tart apples, cinnamon. Tom stopped by that evening. Saw you talking to Claire. She seems nice. She is. Good woman. Her husband died 3 years ago. Cancer. She's not looking for anything. Good. Neither am I. Tom rocked in his chair. But if you were, someday, not today, she'd be a good choice. Tom, I know, just saying, someday. Next Thursday at the garden meeting, Claire saved me a seat. Saved you a spot. Casual, friendly, no implication. The meeting proceeded. Plans for the summer schedule. Volunteer coordination. Walking out after, Claire said, You want coffee sometime? At the diner? I don't know many people here yet. Could use a friendly face. I hesitated. Old fears surfacing, trust issues. The scars were fresh. But I looked at her, open face, no hidden agenda that I could see. Coffee's fine. Friday afternoon? Perfect. See you then. In Tom's truck driving home, I said, I just agreed to coffee. Good, you're not dead yet. Feels like I am sometimes. That's why you need to do things that feel alive, Tom said, even if they scare you. Friday came. I met Claire at the diner, slid into the booth across from her. We ordered coffee, black for both. The conversation flowed easier than expected. She mentioned her late husband, cancer, 3 years of watching him fade. I mentioned my divorce, didn't go into details. It ended badly. Most marriages do, she said. One way or another, death or divorce, same grief, different paperwork. An hour passed. I realized I'd laughed twice. When was the last time I'd laughed? We split the check, walked out together. That was nice, she said. Let's do it again sometime. I'd like that. Driving home, I thought about it. I wasn't ready for anything, might never be. Trust was a muscle I'd torn. It would take time to heal, but maybe that was okay. Maybe just having coffee with another human being was enough for now. Small steps, patient work, like building something in the workshop. Measure twice, cut once, take your time. Spring was here, the tomatoes were flowering, Jake's box was taking shape. I was still breathing. That was something. May morning, sun through the workshop window. Jake and I were finishing Amy's box. He'd been working on it for weeks now, patient, focused. He had his grandmother Amy's concentration, tongue between his teeth when he focused hard. Sand it smooth, I said. Feel for rough spots. His small hand ran over the wood. Here? That's it. Gentle now. Let the sandpaper do the work. We worked in companionable silence, the rasp of sandpaper, smell of fresh wood, spring breeze through the open door. Jake stopped suddenly. Grandma said you got really quiet. After the party, I paused. Children and their directness. I did, for a while. Why? How do you explain this to a 5-year-old? How do you talk about betrayal and survival without stealing innocence? Sometimes people count you out, I said. Think you're done. Think you don't matter anymore. I guided his hand back to the sandpaper, back to the work. And maybe you start believing them. Did you believe them? Almost. I ran my hand over the box, checking his progress. But then I remembered something. What? Just because you're quiet doesn't mean you quit. Jake thought about that, then went back to sanding. The box was taking shape. Simple design, clean lines, functional and honest. Some of the best things are. Can we make one for Dad too? Jake asked. We can make whatever you want, buddy. I looked at my grandson, his serious face, his careful hands. This was legacy, not money or property. This, time, attention, teaching, presence. A robin landed on the windowsill, watched us work. Spring fully arrived now. Through the open door, I could see my tomato plants, heavy with green fruit. Another month they'd ripen. Tom's silhouette on the porch, waiting for our coffee ritual. 3 houses down, Claire was in her garden. She waved, I waved back. Simple gesture, but it meant something. Let's finish this up, I said to Jake. Your mom's coming for dinner. Will you teach me to make a table next? Maybe. When you're older? How much older? However long it takes. We worked until the box was smooth. Perfect. Jake held it up to the light. Is it done? It's done. He beamed. Pride in work, completed, lesson learned. Can I give it to her today? That's what we made it for. He ran inside carrying the box, careful not to drop it. I stood in the workshop doorway, looking out at spring, at my yard, my tomatoes, my life. Not the life I'd planned, not the one I'd imagined 43 years ago when I married a young woman with hopeful eyes, but it was mine, honest, small, real. I'd been counted out, written off, almost erased. But here I was, teaching, building, living. Tom called from the porch. Coffee's getting cold. Be right there. I took one more look around the workshop. The tools in their places, the wood stacked and sorted, everything ordered, everything ready. This was enough. Not happiness, that seemed too big a word. Not contentment, that implied completion. But enough. This moment, this day, this life I was building from what remained. I walked to the porch. Tom had already poured 2 cups. We sat in the rockers, sipped coffee, watched the street in comfortable silence. How you doing? Tom asked eventually. Better. Not good yet, but better. That's all you need. Better than yesterday. Inside, I could hear Jake showing Amy the box. Her voice carried through the screen door. You made this? Jakey, it's beautiful. Pride and joy mixed together. Tom and I rocked in rhythm. 2 old men on a porch, spring evening settling. Children's laughter inside. This was legacy too. These quiet moments, these small victories. I'd lost a lot. A marriage, trust, years of my life to a lie. But I'd kept my dignity, my house, my self-respect, and gained something unexpected, the knowledge that silence isn't always weakness. Sometimes it's strategy, sometimes it's just peace. The sun was setting, golden light through new leaves. "Same time tomorrow?" Tom asked. "Same as always," he nodded, finished his coffee, headed home across the yards. I sat a while longer, watching the light fade, listening to my family inside. Not the life I planned, but mine. And that was enough. I sit on this porch most evenings now. Same chair, same coffee mug I've had for 42 years. Kept it through the divorce. Some things you don't let go. Tom's in the rocker beside me. We don't always talk. Don't need to. That's what friendship is at this age. Comfortable silence. Knowing someone's there. Spring sounds all around. Robins. A lawnmower. Somewhere down the street. Kids playing. Life continuing whether you're ready or not. I think about the last 6 months sometimes. The marriage I thought was solid. Wasn't. The life I thought was ending. Wasn't. The voice I thought was gone. Turned out I'd just chosen silence. There's a difference. Silence as surrender. Silence as strategy. Silence as peace. I know them all now. I don't regret the marriage. It gave me Amy and David. Gave me Emma and Jake. Those are real goods. Worth the cost. I don't regret exposing Linda either. Sometimes survival requires hard choices. Sometimes protecting yourself means destroying something else. What I regret is taking so long to see the truth, but you can't live in regret. Only in what's left. And what's left is this porch, this coffee, this friend, Friday dinners with my grandkids, a workshop where I build things with patient hands, tomato plants that might actually give fruit this year, small things, honest things, mine. Tom doesn't need to speak. His presence is enough. We've earned that. The right to sit together without explanation. I finish my coffee. Stand up. Old bones at 67, but they work. "Same time tomorrow?" Tom asks. "Same as always." I walk inside, flick on the porch light. Moths gather, drawn to light. The door closes soft, doesn't lock. Trust is rebuilding, slowly. Through the window, I'm visible. Moving to the kitchen, continuing. The porch sits empty now, 2 rockers. May evening, peace. Not perfection, never perfection, but peace, and sometimes, at this age, that's the best you can hope for. The light glows steady, the moths circle, the night settles. Tomorrow I'll wake up and do it again, and that's enough. That's everything.